Good day to all of you. This is Dr. Chandrachud from Wales University. Today we are going to discuss about a new concept called development and underdevelopment. This is Unit 2 of Indian economy. In the last class, we studied about the basic issues in economic development and economic growth. In this class, after knowing two terms, development and underdevelopment, we are going to distinguish between the two terms economic growth and economic development. First of all, first we should know why we have to study this particular unit. That is the objective. To make the student familiar with the concept of development and underdevelopment is the purpose of this particular unit. Normally, people think economic development and economic growth are synonymous, but actually it is not. In a layman definition, these two may give same meaning, but technically speaking, they are not the same. In economic sense, there are many differences between these two concepts. So in this class, first we get familiar with the two terms, development and underdevelopment. Then we will distinguish between two macroeconomic indicators, economic growth and economic development. After that, we will sum up and we will see what are the keywords and what are the possible questions in the semester end examination. The concept and measure of development and underdevelopment in economy like India, it's easy way. One is the qualitative, the other one is quantitative evaluation. The main indicator is per capita income, because this gives some idea about the standard of living of the economy. That is why when we want to study about the terms development and underdevelopment, we should be familiar with the concept called per capita income. Now, let us start with basic idea about these two terms. The economy is measured by the economic changes in the economy and its development. The development in terms of both qualitative and quantitative progress of economy and the growth of economy. Definitely, how much quantitatively it is increased and how much qualitatively increased. Quantitative is economic growth, but qualitative is economic development. It is the manner in which the economy is getting changes for the better or the worse. So let me see that particular term called underdevelopment. The underdeveloped country entails low development and majority of the people living below the poverty line. Which decides the poverty line? The per capita income. The per capita income of these countries is very low, and the people do not have access to the proper health care system and other forms of amenities. Suppose if the income is very low and they are in the poverty line, they don't have money to spend for maintaining their health. That indicates definitely there is a underdevelopment. If you see some developed countries, the per capita income will be very high, and those economy will be well developed and the people have high standard of living. In these countries, there are a continuous rise in the income level. So what is a key indicator is the per capita income. Suppose the per capita income is more, then the country is considered to be a developed one. If the per capita income is low, then it is a underdeveloped country. So now let me define the term underdevelopment. The term underdevelopment refers to that state of economy where the levels of living of masses, here masses is considered the public, are extremely low due to very low level of per capita income, which result in low level of productivity and a high growth rate of population. These are the two indicators. One is the low productivity, the other side is high growth rate of population. Because of these two, there will be a low per capita income. The underdeveloped countries is now terming this particular word, instead of saying underdeveloped, they are saying developing countries, positive approach. But it signifies such nation capable of indeed to make a serious effort to overcome that particular problems of poverty, and because they are having low income, the per capita income is low. So what they want to do, one side they are controlling the population, otherwise they try to increase the productivity. So after knowing these two terms, what is that? The development and underdevelopment. Now we can able to distinguish the two economic indicators, economic growth and economic development. In this class, we are considering 5 different concepts. Based on those concepts, we are differentiating, we are comparing and contrasting the economic growth and economic development. The first one, what is the meaning of these two terms? In case of economic growth, it refers to an increase in the real output of goods and services in a country. What is their total output of goods and services in 2020 and 2021? That gives the economic growth. Nothing but it's a GDP, that is gross domestic product. But this is not in case of economic development. We are not only consider only the real output, but we have to consider what level of changes in the income. Based on that, what level of changes in the savings and how much it is converted into investment, along with the progressive change in the socio-economic structure of the country. It not only includes only the particular real output, both institutional and technological changes also considered. That is why the scope of economic development is very wide compared to economic growth. So the second concept that we are considering is what are the factors that we are considering to measure the economic growth and economic development. The economic growth related to a gradual increase of one of the component, gross domestic product. That particular gross domestic product, how we have to calculate what is the total output in the agriculture, what is the total output in the industry and the service sector. Apart from that, the difference between the import and the export, that is the net export. So considering these 4 factors, when we aggregate, we can get the gross domestic product. It's only how much increase or how much decrease. What is GDP in 2020? What is the GDP in 2021? This will give the economic growth. But in case of considering the economic development, because the development relates to growth of human capital, how much manpower that we are using, that is a main criteria. And how decrease in inequality figures, that means there will be inequality in the standard of living, in the level of income. Those inequality are to be considered. And what are all the structural changes which influence the quality life of the population. So economic growth is a quantitative, but economic development not only quantitative but also the qualitative factors that we should consider. So what are the factors that we are considering? It is in the third point, how we are measuring the economic growth and how we are measuring the economic development. The economic growth is measured by quantitative factors. What is that? Real GDP or per capita income. When we consider the national income accounting, there are 7 elements: GDP, GNP, that is gross domestic product, gross national product, national income, disposable personal income, per capita. These are the elements. So this is the way that we can measure the economic growth. But in case of economic development, it is not as easy economic growth, because we are considering number of indices like HDI. HDI means Human Development Index. What is a gender related index? That is sex ratio. Then Human Poverty Index. Then infant mortality, morbidity. What is the literacy rate? All these economic indicators are to be considered, how it is progressive. So after knowing all these things, we can able to measure the economic development. That is why the scope of economic development is very wide. Then the fourth factor that we are considering is the effects. The economic growth brings the quantitative change in the economy only. Why? Because what is the value of GDP or GNP or disposable income or per capita income compared to previous years to the present year. But economic development is not a quantitative, it is both qualitative as well as quantitative, as we are considering the Human Development Index, literacy rate, number of indices that we are considering, so and we are measuring. That is why the economic development is considering both qualitative factors and quantitative factors in the economy. Finally, the relevance. When we comparing the economic growth and economic development, the economic growth reflects the growth of the nation or the per capita income, but the economic development reflects the progress of quality of life in the country. What is the health system followed in that country? What is the standard of living? What is the quality of life that they are? How much amenities they can able to? Whether they can meet both ends to meet? How many people are above the poverty line? All these things are considered in the economic development. It's a definite section B question. While writing the answer to this question, first you should write what we mean by economic growth, first paragraph. Then what you mean by economic development, second paragraph. Then you have to make, these are the difference. So you have to list those 5 factors and then write this particular table. Definitely you can secure full marks. So let me sum up this particular unit. In this unit, what we discuss, there are 4 economic terms that we are discussed. One is the development. The second one is underdevelopment. Based on these 2, we are studying the concept of economic growth and economic development. After knowing these 4 concepts, then we are trying to compare and contrast these economic indicators, economic growth and economic development. For that, we have studied 5 points, right from the meaning, factors, measurement, effects, and relevance. What are the key words that we are learned today? Is economic growth, economic development, macroeconomic indicators like human development index, inflation, human poverty index, literacy rate. These are the macroeconomic indicators. Then when we consider about the semester end examination, you can expect 2 section B question. Distinguish between the economic growth and economic development, and how to measure the economic development. These are the possible section B question, but sometimes they may ask as section C, explain the concept economic development or how it has to be measured. So in this particular unit, keep in mind that how to differentiate the economic growth and economic development. If you have any doubt, you can post in the comment. I will explain in the next class. Thank you for viewing my video. Thank you.